Morning guys, so welcome back to the NZ Mopo Outlook Cup. At the moment I am sorting out a packet of these bloody things. These bifurcated or bifurcated rivets, whatever they call them. It's the ones that hold the webbing down on the cowl. There's a packet of 100 here. And there's four different lengths in here, and they're all in the one hole. So here I am trying to sort them out. They're 11, 16, 3/8 and 1/2 inch, and then there's some little short ones. I don't know if you can see in there or not. That little frickin' tiny ones, I don't know what we're going to use them for, probably nothing. But yeah, so I try and sort them out between the 3/8 and the 11, 16s and the 1/2 inch. So I don't end up with trying to put, silly short ones through that cowl. I think that probably the 3/8 might be alright. You might get away with it, but the 1/2 inch will be better, you know what I mean, because it'll just give you a bit more to play with. Hopefully these all work okay. Probably the 1/2 inch and 11, 16 are probably the ones I'll use the most. Would have been just better off with frickin' 1/2 inch and 3/8, They could have ditched the other two sizes. For all it matters, like basically 3/8 is 11 mil, like 10 mil. And 11, 16 is 11 mil, so like talking 1 mil difference in length, and then 1/2 inch is like 22 mils long, and that again, yeah, it doesn't make much of a difference when it becomes a little bit of length like that. It's a bit different when it comes to, like if it strengthen a bolt or something like that, it can make quite a difference when it's a diameter or something, but when it's just the length of something like these little things, it makes a piss all difference, 1 millimetre doesn't make bugger all difference. Can do, you know what I mean? We would have been better off with just a heap with the 50 long ones and 15 sort of medium ones. Probably never going to use the short ones. They're so bloody short. I hope I've got enough of the right length, you know what I mean? But I think I'll end up probably having to use some of the 11, 16 ones. So, I presume I've got enough 1/2 inch, but I don't know. It's meant to be 25 of each. Not sure on that. Not sure on that. 25 is not a lot. It's about done here. Must have a few of the 7, 16 ones in with the 3/8, I think. Seem to have a lot of 3/8. Silly little job. I would have rather just paid an extra $5 for the packet and give us a little box, with a divider in it, So stuff around for freaking 10, 15 minutes trying to sort them out. So yeah, little potholes in them all. Yeah, I've definitely got some of them mixed up. The long ones are easy to tell, but it's the 3/8 and the 11/16. I think I must have a few 11/16s in the 3/8, I think. Anyway, I just put them in these paint lid bottles. That's the short ones, obviously. That's the 1/2 inch. That should be 11/16, and that should be 3/8. But there seems to be not many 7/16s in there. I reckon there's a few in there. Because they're only close. Oh, there's 10mm basically, 11mm and 13mm. You know, may as well just had those and those, you know, you could have done without them. Just give us frickin' a few extras of those and those. For all it would have made a difference, and I don't know what you'd ever do with these. So frickin' short, I don't know what you would use them for. I guess they'd be used for something, but I'm probably not going to ever use them. Maybe at some point, but don't know. Don't know. You could maybe use them for a little bit of decoration on something. Yeah, possibly. But they're so bloody short, it makes them awkward to spread out anyway. Well, we'll see if we can maybe get some webbing on this car. It's just going to go grind a little slot on there. It's working, but I think it might just help open out that little hole in the webbing, so it's not quite so difficult. You know what I mean? I'll go do that, and then we'll come back. Oh. I don't know if you can see. This phone won't fucking focus. It's fucking me. I've cut a slot on both sides of it with the cutting disc, so it's got a groove in there. Oh, right, there you go. You can see that now. I've cut a slot on sort of both sides of it to try and open that webbing out a little bit. Just sort of cut away what I don't want there, if you know what I mean. Just make it a little bit easier instead of just poking a hole in it. When I sort of ream it out, it'll cut what I don't want away. So those little pins through. Right, we'll get back to it. A bit of space for the camera to move around a little bit. Right. So yeah, I think this will work. It's going to work quite nicely. Those 1/2 inch ones are barely long enough by the time where they go through the steel, and then the steel pushes it out like that. Only just, well, they are a little bit out, but you know what I mean, like they're not a great deal, whereas the original ones are. There is. they're not a lot longer, you know what I mean, but like they are just a little bit. Hold on, find something flat to sit on. Block of work. There's a bit of a height difference. Yeah, it's another, I don't know, 3 mil. So these must be about 5'8" or thereabouts. So it's just that little bit longer. That's what they all were originally. But that was one that was still in. Oh, that's right. I pulled it out of that other body to get an idea what I was looking for. But yeah, these are only 1/2 inch, so hopefully I can get them to hold. They're not terribly long, so I've been trying to spread them with a pair of circlip pliers, and then I'll have to try and maybe use a pin punch just to help knock them over. Like the ones where they stick through the body a bit aren't too bad, but like the one up here, it's fairly short, it's a bit awkward. quite well. So yeah, just put a couple of wee tacks in there with a bit of steel, and I just obviously ground the edges off it so it wasn't sharp. And just once I've sort of got it half flattened over, I can come along and just push that on top of the rivet and just give it a wee squeeze, and then it just helps flatten and tighten that stuff up. So sometimes it's just a matter of making something work. You know, I can always nip that off the grind and get rid of it later on, if you know what I mean. Once I've finished doing it. It's kind of working quite well. Just got to be careful you're not damaging paint and whatever, but almost I wouldn't say 2 hours, but close. 2 hours putting them on, you know, we've only got to here. It took a wee while to obviously modify that little tool and just work out a simpler, fast way to do it. Had a lot of awkwardness. Still not easy, but you know what I mean. But yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Right. Next. I did aim that wrong one. You kind of see. Right, I'm just looking on the other side. None of these holes freaking are even compared with the other side. So I've cut this off about 50 mils or a couple of inches up from the bottom, because that's where the bottom hole was, and I just left it a little bit of length there. But I don't want it, you know, like stupid. I don't want it flapping around. But on the other side, so it's about a little bit over 4 inches up, I think it is, or thereabouts. But on the other side, the other one is a long way above that. It's up here. So I'm thinking of just drilling another hole in here and having a 2-inch cut off again, just to help hold it. I don't know if there was ever another hole in there. That looks like it's still the spot weld holds, but it's never had a hole drilled through here, so I might, I don't know. I don't remember filling any holes down there, if you know what I mean. Pretty sure I didn't fill anything. I left all those holes there, you know, because I knew that's what it was for. But yeah, so I might just have to drill a hole down here just to help hold that last little piece, so we haven't got, you know, 2 or 3 inches flapping around. I think that'll be right. So yeah, I'll do that shortly. Alright, I've got all that buttoned up, this on. So now I am going to get the rubber for the windscreen, and I'll see if I can get the bottom part across. I've got a bit of fresh dishwashing liquid here. Just freaking whatever was floating around home that was a little bit left in the bottle, because the missus is freaking terrible at buying another bottle and then like leaving the last little bit. Starts using the new one, but it's handy for me because I can take little bits and pieces like this to work for wet sanding and shit, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, we'll put a little bit of dishwash on that T-piece on here, on this part, smear a bit along there and see if we can pull it around there at least, and then work out what we're doing from there. Well, looks like I might have to take it off the frame and try and I've even made up just a piece of steel with a little L on it, to try and run it along backwards and forwards, and at different spots it will stop. So there's obviously crap and shit in there, and I can't get it to slide backwards and forwards cleanly. So I need to take it off and then try and clear out those channels best I could. Like we sandblasted in there and whatever, and tried to do the best we could, you know, with trying to get in a little T-slot. But yeah, I'm going to actually get it off, sit it on one of those panel stands and try and scrape the crap out of there the best I can, and then try and pull the rubber through. So yeah, pain in the fucking ass, but yeah, I thought it was reasonably clear, but because even when I welded the pieces in, I tried to put a file in there. I cut down a file, like a little fine file, and tried to get in there and file like any bits of weld out and whatever, you know, at the time, but there's only so much you can do in a little T-slot. But yeah, we might have to take it off and then try and do it, get it in there once we give it a bit of a scrape out and clean it. So I'll undo some, might tape a couple of rags on here, put some tape on there, undo some screws, and get it out and try on a panel stand. See if we can get it in there. At least then I better, I might better put a couple of those rubber clamps on it. All those little clamps just to hold the screen so it's not moving around. And I might better just, once I get it clear, I might better help pull it through until we get it in the right spot. So yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, I don't think the sides are going to be easy enough. They're fairly straight, but it's that curve just to get past that. I've had it up both sides. It's the, it must be just shit in there and whatever else, and probably the odd wee lump of weld still. See if we can get it through. Right, I found the file that I was looking for. I've already ground it down once. So what I'm going to do, this is pretty sacrilege, but I'm going to cut a piece off the end of it. I'm going to try and grind it down a little bit more. I'm going to try and weld a little bit of steel to it, if I can, across one edge. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work, but I'm going to try. So I can basically do what I was doing with that piece of metal, but try and put a little bit of pressure on the edge so I can file it down. And I can try and leave the file edge and get in there if I can. So I've got that little edge in there. Just have a little short piece that I can run in past it where I need to. And try and, I don't know, see if I can file it down. That's all I can think to do. It's going to be too thick to get in there. Just trying to think, what I can weld it to. So I can use a little bit of, pressure on. It's going to run down there. It's tight, it needs to be thinner than that. I might be able to grind it back, but yeah. Wish me luck. God, pain in the fucking ass. I'll have a plate and see what I can come up with. It's too thick. That's definitely way too thick. I don't know if that's any thinner or not. Is it thicker or thinner? About the same. It's all about the same. So I might just have to grind. I only want to use a small piece, but I thought if I could maybe weld it to a piece of this, but we'll see. See what I can come up with. Wish me luck. Well, I just haven't quite got it small enough. I need to cut it off and just see if I can weld that back a little bit shallower if I can. So yeah, I've got it a little bit high. I'll try to have it angled slightly so I could sort of kind of slide it over, and then it would sort of force the file off. But it's a bit big, just a little bit big. I'll see if I can cut it off and weld it off a bit, just a bit shallower, maybe half that again, if you know what I mean. Maybe, we'll see. Right, I wonder if I've got it small enough this time. Slightly higher at one end than the other. It's kind of what I was trying to do, but you know, just so it sort of leads into over those lumps, so we can fold it off like it is. Like at least my thumb against it. It's pretty tiny. I got that far. And it's almost like it's locking up here somewhere. It was tight getting it across there in a couple of spots. You know, once I got past it, it sort of seemed to move again. But yeah, because I think I can get past these ones here going the other way. I'm sure of it. Because I used my little freaking crazy little file thing to try and clear out what I could. I probably didn't have it quite deep enough, but I think it was enough to sort of get rid of what I think I needed to, you know, file the edges off or whatever. I could work it past these places, you know, I could get it to hit, you know, from one direction, but get it to file past, you know, flow past the other from the other direction. So that's why I think I can get it to go this way. I just got to keep working on it. But I think I'm going to pull this out, if I can get it out, and just try and clean along here a bit more, and see if I can get it to slide along there. Far out, it's a pain in the ass, because I'd like to be able to, I almost need somebody to hold it, and then somebody to help pull it along almost. I almost need 2 or 3 people just to get this piece along. Everything else is going to be easy. Just trying to get around this curve with the bits of crap along there. Oh, anyway, I think next time I'll try and see if I can get some frickin' new, if I have to repair one, I think I'll just try and see if I can get a strip of this from someone, see if somebody makes it, and just frickin' put a new piece in it. Kind of getting somewhere again. I don't have that much to go. Hopefully I can get past these bits I was having problems with earlier. Hopefully. I just turned it over the other way and frickin' file my little funny file thing along there and try to clean a bit more shit out if I could. Maybe take some other little high spots off that might have been grabbing. And I poured a heap of that frickin' in the hole, stood it up on its edge and poured a heap in there, so it seems to be moving. We'll keep trying. Got one spot in about here we can't get past at the moment. So I'll just have to keep working at it, I think, and it's only on this bottom side. You know, you can hear it. And I've just got to try and see if I can work a bit more off it with my funny little file. I get enough height that I can pull this past it. And I'll be golden. Fucking pain in the ass though. But we'll get her. It's the only place it's going to stop. I've got everything else. I've had it pulled right around to there and I've tried to pull it past it, but I've chopped this back on an angle too, to try and get it to, you know, to slide past any little obstacles that might be awkward. But I'll just have to keep trying. It's easy with 2 hands though. Right, morning guys. So I'm going to carry on with trying to get this rubber in this windscreen. I'm almost there. at the end. I think it's just going to take a little bit more work. There's a little lump in here that just kind of started to get to go past it before I left last night, but it just needs a bit more. I don't know whether this is going to work or not, but because I think obviously probably when I welded this on, it's probably hasn't left the file very hard, unfortunately. I probably softened it. So it's kind of worn the teeth off now. I don't know if you can see that or not. God, fucking hell, fine. Well, I'm sure you can focus on that instead of focus on me. That's hard to get them to focus where you want sometimes. Come on. Stupid bloody things. Freaking autofocus on some of these phones is terrible. But anyway, yeah, it's sort of, it's kind of there, but it's not there anymore. I've kind of worn it off. Obviously, just de-hardened the file, steel, so it was really, really hard. So I've kind of worn that off. But I'll keep persevering. It might be just enough to knock enough off so I can get that to slide past. I did get it to go past it a little bit, but it was pretty dragging, so I'll try to persevere a bit more. Oh, we got there. Only a couple of minutes later, I run that little file thing, sort of dragged it over there quite heavily. Sort of with this, because it's a bit sharper on this edge, a bit deeper. Just here, and I just really forced it along there, using my body weights against it to pull. And I managed to get it pulled past. So once I sort of got it past it, started coming reasonably easy. So that's good. So I'm going to leave it a little bit long. Just have a quick measure to see what I've got left out here. I think I've got 3 to go other sides anyway. But I'll have a quick measure, just see what I need, and then leave this a reasonable extra so I can, when I get it up there, I can work out how I'm going to cut corners so it looks nice. Just work out what I need to do, you know what I mean? So it doesn't look all weird and haven't got funny little flappy pieces, and just to kind of work that out. I don't quite know how I'm going to attack that yet, but if I leave a good inch or so at each side, it's going to give me something to play with, if you know what I mean. Sit up here and we'll try and get it back in. Got there eventually. It's a bit of a worry, we got everything. I was hoping that frickin' I was going to get that shit sorted out. I was just talking to Arco, giving me a lesson on that. I think the used guys in the States call it DF fluid. The blue lid, you put into like a lot of your diesel commercial, like tractors and trucks and all that sort of bullshit. We call it AdBlue over here because it's got a blue lid. That's just what they named it. So yeah, I don't think Arco's had much to do with it because he's been using a little Bobcat skid steer, doing some groundwork around his workshop, cleaning up the driveway and stuff, so that when the snow mounts there, it doesn't run into his workshop. for his car show, yeah, and it's run out of that DF fluid, or AdBlue as we call it, and he couldn't work out why it was derating and had no horsepower. They said he kept coming out with this thing, and he goes, fuck, I don't know what it is, and I was like, explain it, and he goes, oh, here's a blue fucking cappy, and I said, yeah, it's run out of that shit, bro, because with driving trucks, the trucks come over here with that shit, they're in the mid 2000s, yeah, like so 2006, 7. I think they started coming over here with the with that Euro rating, and they had to have the that liquid urea shit in the blue tank. Yeah, and I said to him, yeah, it's nothing fucking worse than pulling 50 tonne behind you, and you forgot to put fucking AdBlue in it or DF fluid, and the thing just derates. And next thing you fucking and the fucking thing just crawl through a fucking halt, and you can like do fucking 10 kilometres an hour, about 10 miles an hour down the fucking road. It's just fucking hopeless. So yeah, if you're driving, if you're hiring one of those, a diesel vehicle with that shit in it, make sure the cunt is full before you fucking go anywhere. With that stuff, because it's just an absolute fucking pain in the ass. You're getting down, like it's, say, like it's might have a, you know, less than a quarter of a tank, because people don't think to fill that shit up. Yeah, you're cruising down the fucking highway, and the fucking thing just runs out of that fluid, and so the computer just goes, no DF fluid, or no fucking AdBlue, and it just derates. And next thing you've got about fucking 20 horsepower, and the cunt goes nowhere. So yeah, it's a bit of a kind of a lesson to learn, but yeah, if you're going to run any of those modern diesel tractors or trucks or anything like that, so that's got that environmental fucking fluid shit on it, yeah, make sure you fill it up. And what we used to do is every couple of tanks, I think it depends on the vehicle, but you sort of get anywhere from sort of probably 2 or 3 tanks to maybe 4 or 5 tanks to a tank of it, like tank of diesel to one of AdBlues. It depends on what the vehicle is, I guess, you know. It depends on how fast it uses it and how it's set up. But yeah, just every couple of tanks we used to fill it back up and fill it back up and fill it back up. Because yeah, it was nothing fucking worse, and you forget, and you got a fucking like 50 tonne of fucking logs on the back, or concrete slabs, or you know, livestock or something like that. The fucking thing derates in the middle of the road. complete fucking pain in the ass. And you go, oh fuck, did somebody bring me some fluid? Pain in the ass. Fucking pain in the ass. Pain there. Piece here is coming up against the rubber, and it's holding the frame that way, so I'm going to have to obviously trim a little bit of it away where it's holding. So we'll get you back situated in a better position and we'll have a look. Right, that's how we look here. So where this sits here, so you can see this piece here, it's going to push against this bit of rubber, so we need to kind of trim some of this away without, obviously, what I would like to do is actually leave it, instead of cutting it the whole thing short, I'd actually like to just trim it away up until, so here, but leave this bit of rubber in here, you know what I mean? And just let that push out of the road in the meantime until I figure out exactly what I'm going to do. Because obviously you want as good as weather seal as possible. You don't want water and shit running around it. It's probably going to do that anyway. Like it's not really much you can do about that on this thing. But I think if we just slit it up here, So this piece can fold away, and then we can put these back in the car because I can't screw them on here. But if we slip that a little away, at least we can get this back on properly, and we can have a bit more of an assessment of everything else. So we'll just slice that off. Cut it back a little. Right, I actually just lowered the car down a little bit. These are all one click and underneath the front axle, mainly so I could get wheels back on. But so I've dropped it down to no click, moved it out to the outer part of the axle because it's got that kick up to try and get the car down a bit lower to work on. And on the back, I just moved it from underneath the spring to underneath the actual axle, and it's down now at a bit easier height to work at with this windscreen shit. Just not stretching up quite so far, you know, because it's down I don't know, 3 or 4 inches in the back, which makes quite a difference, and it's probably down a couple of inches at the front now too, so it just makes quite a difference to work on. But anyway, I'll get this back in here. I just trimmed this up. See if I can get that up in there. And we'll go from there. Get that back up in there if I can. I have to trim that edge off a little bit more. I'll use 2 hands. Alright. Yeah, so that's quite good. I trimmed probably not quite 3/8 or 10mm off this. Not quite that much, probably 7/16 or about 7mm, maybe 8mm. Just left it slightly wider on the side than the other. Just it needed to be a little wider. You know, when I because I have to pull the dash, which is a pain in the ass to drop that post down. I think I might just leave it at that. In the meantime, I might make a pattern for these bits and just work out what I'm doing here. I think I've got a piece here. See if I can find it, which I think is a sample, a bit like what's there. You can't really see. You can see that piece sticking out of the screen up there, I think. You know, off the post. It's kind of hard to see because it's fucking so grainy. But yeah, a bit like that, but different. I'll have a quick look on some pictures. We might start mapping out this piece and I'll start making it. It's one of the few pieces I haven't made. Because there's nothing to hold the windscreen in place, if you know what I mean. At this point. But yeah, so we need to do something with that. I hunted through some photos on the internet and I've got a fairly good idea, but I'm going to go up and have a look at that one because it's broken off, but it's still there. And just see if I can get that one off there, or at least try to get that one off there. But what happens is there's a rod with a plate on here with a piece that comes up here like that, and there's a bit that bolts on here with a tube on it, and it comes out so far. Then it's got like a little piece that slips over this, so it follows that path. And then there's like a nut, or like a little, like almost like a wing nut thing on the inside, and I wonder if that there tightens this piece that goes over this. So it must I don't know whether it puts pressure on it or like it's got a little cam up that stops it from, you know what I mean? Got a little cam so it locks against this rod. It comes up here, and then it's also these pieces here. It's got a little visor to me put on it. So I'm going to have to make that too. But I'm going to go up there and have a wee look. And I don't know whether I get it off or not, but I might take that little blowtorch with me and a hammer and a couple of just a couple of screwdrivers and see if I can get that off. And just use that as a pattern. And see if I can make it. It's probably taken me a few days to make it, but see if we can get that piece made. Because I'm kind of at a standstill here. Like I can soon put some more shit on here, but I might get this made. See how we get on. But yeah, I'll take that little blowtorch with me and a couple of screwdrivers and hammer and just see if we can maybe get that off. Yeah, so this is exactly what I'm talking about. It is the right thing, but it's just all broken. If I can get it off, at least I can see how these things work. So it's got like a little frickin' thumb screw on both sides. I only want one off, so I'll just make them. And so we got on. This would have went way up here, if you know what I mean. Right to here, so that we have the sun visor on it. But I don't know if this is going to get it hot enough or not, but we'll find out. We can get some shit loose. At least try. See what happens. I'm going to place it and get it off. Alright, I got this stuff off. So that's obviously off the inside. So, you know, I might better use parts of this. I don't know. We'll see. So this is like the little, it's like one of those little double-sided bolt nut rivet things that goes through the windscreen frame that holds this bit on. I've got a sneaking suspicion there's a spring in here. And it pulls tension on this, so it tightens up as you do that nut up. I reckon it slides this back or something, and it puts pressure in here. I don't know. That's my thinking. And these here, this here should be easy enough to replicate. So these here go through, it must go through that side. It must go on the inside. And then, this will go through from that side and screw into that to hold it all together, sandwich it together. So that will be easy enough to fix, to get new. We'll just have to do what we're going to do. We might have to use Allen keys or something, just unless I can get them out. But this one here wasn't very good, and I don't know where the other one went. It bounced and hit the floor up there somewhere. But yeah, I'm not worried about that. Like, if we have to replicate it or make it, like, it shouldn't be too big a drama. It's more getting that piece to work again and then making this piece, which shouldn't be terribly difficult. It's actually all made out of brass. I actually thought it might have been something else, but I can probably make that out of steel if I had to. I might just give this a wee warm up before I bugger off for lunch, and probably the end of the day for me, unfortunately. But see if I can get this at least free and see if we can get this to work. And just wind it back on there, just in case I have to give it a gentle wee tap for the hammer and get this to work. So I can at least get this, if I can get this one to work, this piece here, not so much this, we'll have to remake that, but if I can get this piece to work, at least we'll better make that, and then we can later on make it work out a sun visor, because we'll have to work out what the arc is, but that should be easy enough. That shouldn't be too difficult to work out. It's a matter of bolting that on there, holding something in place of that, and tracing the angle, and be done with it, both sides, and then we can make these pieces. So yeah, and then obviously we can, these here are being held by the front of the sun visor thing, and then the piece that screws on up here. I'll show you. I'm assuming that's what happens. So I wondered what these pieces were for, but yeah, must be something that screws in here for the sun visor. And so there's obviously a rod, something that sticks out here for the, oh sorry, try and hold you back a little bit. It sits out here, and then these come up to meet it. That completes it like a triangle to help hold it steady for the windscreen to slide on. So yeah, we'll give this a quickly warm up before I bugger off and see if we can get this to move. Yeah, so I got that out. I was right, it's got like a little button sort of type thing on there that's stuck at the moment. I can get this to move in and out a little bit, but not without force. So yeah, I've soaked it with some CRC. See if we can get it to free up, see if we can get it to work. Yeah, just a matter of just persevering with it, I guess. And see if we can get this one to free up. If we can get this one to work properly, yeah, we'll remake that and we'll pull the other one off. And we'll just have to see if we can get some of those little male-female screw things. It might just have to be Allen keys or something like that. Just have to see what we can find that'll work. I know there are a lot of those sorts of things like on scooters and all sorts of bits and pieces, so they're really barely available. It's just a matter of getting something that'll work for that thing, wherever I did with those bits. But yeah, and then finding what screws fit in the, because that was screwed into the windscreen post in the other one, but it's pretty schmozzled. I don't know whether these will work in there or not. I'll have to find out what thread they are and find something, make something. Oh, these are the piece, yeah. So we can find something that will do that job. But yeah, we might just have to make these. Worst comes to worst, if you know what I mean. But yeah, we'll see how we get on. So we can at least free these up and clean them up and make them work. We'll leave it at that for now. I'll go have some lunch and then we'll have to look after the boy, I suppose, after lunch and see what's going on with the other one. Unfortunately. And see what's going on there. Right, catch you later on. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe and hit that bell and all those sorts of things. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow when we carry on attacking this thing and see if we can get it on the car. Cheers. Thanks for watching.
Welcome to Iron Outlaws. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this.